Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops of GMS who rule as well. Peace and salutations to the elect. Uh, this is Brother Anah. That's my name, Anah. Um, I just want to talk about a few things. I have an old article here pulled up from August 21st, 2023. How this video is called Secret Searched Out. And this dude, Tucker Carlson, went over to Russia and had an interview, which this isn't that video, but he did an interview with Russia just to get some more questions and things like that of what's going on and a lot of different things. You guys should search them up and check it out. Just type in interview with Russia, Tucker Carlson. That's the dude's name here, right here. So we're just gonna basically get this information and get a scripture or two and see what's up.
Pretty much everything that NBC News and the New York Times have told you about the war in Ukraine is a lie. The Russian army is incompetent, they claim. Ukraine is a democracy. Vladimir Putin is Hitler and he's trying to take over the world. Thankfully, the Ukrainians are winning. None of that is true. Every claim is false, the last one especially. The Ukrainian army is not winning. In fact, it's losing badly. Ukraine is being destroyed. Its population is being slaughtered in lopsided battles with a technologically superior enemy, or scattered by the millions to the rest of the globe as refugees. Ukraine is running out of soldiers. As that happens, the question will inevitably arise, who's going to replace them? If the Ukrainians can't beat Putin, who will? The answer, of course, will be us. American troops will fight the Russian army in Eastern Europe.
You see, and that's why that's important because you may be asking yourself, well, why is the war in Ukraine important to us? I'm talking about people that may be here in Babylon and even the world because this thing is the whole world needs to pay attention to the times that we're living in. Measure the time. Second Esdras 9:1. King James Bible Online. Get a full chapter here. This is Second Esdras 9:1. It says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when thou shalt see, Therefore, when thou shalt be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Right? And what to understand here is that the Most High is going to visit this place with pestilence, famines. I believe this is in Matthew somewhere. Um, I'm pretty sure it's Matthew 24, but earthquakes, visit with famine. You just bear with me. Uh, Sorry. Visit with earthquakes. Let's do that. Earthquake. Yeah, right here. Isaiah 29:6. It says, Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquakes and with great noise and with storms and tempests and the flame of devouring fire, right? So these are part of the signs that we will see when Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai will start to visit the world. Let's see. And just to back that point up, I believe in the last few days, California was hit with like, I forgot what number they said. Let's see this right here. Look at this. It says Southern California shaken by 13 earthquakes over 25 minutes. And these things are happening at a rapid rate. There's news articles talking about, this is they're seeing more and more of a rise in these things because if we're aware and we're looking around, we can clearly see that these are the last days, right? And that was just to back that up of what was going on. So we're measuring the time. That's why this is important. We're measuring the time and the things that are going on, so we can kind of so the day doesn't take us as a thief in the night, right? That's pretty much what the whole thing is about. That's why the prophets are here bringing out this information, warning you of the days to come.
That's most likely. And the assumption is we'll win. But will we win? Probably not, says former Army Colonel Douglas Macgregor, a decorated combat veteran who advised the Secretary of Defense in the last administration. The U.S., says Macgregor, is on the brink of a catastrophic war that could very easily destroy us. Few Americans seem to understand that, but they should. Doug Macgregor is now the CEO of Our Country, Our Choice, and we sat down with him recently. This conversation is worth hearing. Doug Macgregor, thanks for joining us. How would you assess and describe the state of the war in Ukraine right now?
That's an important question, and not enough people have good answers at this point. I think all of the lies that have been told for more than a year and a half about the Ukrainians are winning, the Ukrainian cause is just, the Russians are evil, the Russians are incompetent, all of that is collapsing.
And the whole thing of the reason why Russia is fighting Ukraine, and they actually, in that interview that he did with Tucker Carlson, he explained uh, Russian President Vladimir Putin explained why he actually has claims to the land in the first place. You know what I mean? He's basically saying that's his land anyway. So it's kind of he justified himself. But not only that, it's just the fact that there were agreements, and rules, and he went into all this in the interview. Rules and things that NATO was not supposed to expand to his land, and the fact that NATO was expanding towards their land, that was causing Putin to get upset or get mad because he was threatened. Because imagine have nuclear missiles or warheads at your back door, basically too close to you. So that's why he had to go ahead and invade Ukraine, because USA was puffing at his enemy. Let's get that scripture. This is Psalms chapter 10. We start at verse 1. It says, "Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble?" And a lot of people are saying that. Why would God allow this to happen? Why would God allow that to happen? And the Most High is he's many things. He's a God of war and he's a God of peace, and he does everything, and it's for a reason. And that reason being sins, the sins of our forefathers and things like that. It says, "Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble?" And it, like I said, it's for the sins, basically. "The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor, let them be taken in the vices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth at his heart's desire. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after Yahweh. Yahweh is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them," right? And this wicked man, Esau Edom, Babylon the Great, is the Lord's sword. And so that's pretty much what this man has been doing. He's been doing exactly what he's been called to do, be the sword of the earth, and puffed at his enemies and things like that. But what we're going to get into, times are changing. Jacob, what is it? Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So those times are the times we're living in. We're starting to see a change in what's going on. So him puffing at his enemies and all of that, he's brought down. Let's get Isaiah 47. It says, Isaiah 47:1, it says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans," which is Babylon the Great. This is a modern version of Babylon. All of this is Babylon. "For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." Right? And that's basically what happened. This is a reversal. Like I just said, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that follow. So that's what we're getting into. I'm gonna get into it in Ezekiel 38 also. It says, "Take the millstone and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." And that's talking about Yahushua coming, right? And just like my title says, secrets searched out. All the secrets and the lies of this evil, wicked man are coming out, to the world. People are noticing, you know, these people and how wicked and evil they are. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms, right? And this is going into a future prophecy, right? That's talking about the downfall of this place, Babylon the Great. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand, and thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke, right? And that's talking about how they treated the apple of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai's eye, which is Israel, which is us, starting with the elect, because we're going to be redeemed first in the coming of our Lord, Yahweh Shai, with the chariots. We're going to be redeemed first. So um, he's this wicked Edom, Esau, didn't spare us, you know. And thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Basically, Esau's been doing everything he's been doing, and didn't think of any consequences, right? He just continued to just mess the world up. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwelleth careless, carelessly, that saith in thine heart, I am and none else beside me. I'm sorry, let me make sure this thing is still recording. Therefore hear now this, that thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that saith in thine heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Right? They think they're going to continue to generation, and they shall see no end. And that's the pride of the heart that has deceived them. But their end is here. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, in the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments, right? And we just seen an article where they had something in Davos. They had some witch lady up there throwing down witchcraft, talking mumbo jumbo. You know what I mean? I was pretty crazy. I don't know. These people are insane. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am and none else beside me, right? They think themselves to be gods, and they think that no one's seen them. But my title says, their things are being searched out. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Right? Stand now with thine enchantments, and with thy multitude of sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. Right? So Most High is like egging them on, saying like, yo, y'all got all these witchcraft enchantments and things. Stand now with them. Try that shit now. Basically, it ain't gonna work. Because what's coming, who can turn it away, right? That strong arrow, that strong bow that the Most High is going to send, right? Because the Most High is going to send thermonuclear war to this place, along with the chariots and Yahweh Shai when they return. And no one can turn that away. Those enchantments ain't going to work in that day. We're going to get back to the video, and then I'll separate this. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, and the monthly procrastinators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. The Most High is taunting and teasing them, and saying, yo, all these people you got that be out here, trying to determine things, let them come now. Let them determine your end. Behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor a fire to sit before it. So it's saying, yo, all your stargazers and your monthly procrastinators and all them niggas gonna be burnt up in this flame of fire I'm about to send everybody. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save thee. So no one's saving Esau, Edom. right? The heathen can't be saved, right? That ain't happening. We're gonna get back to this video.
And it's collapsing because what's happening
And I actually Isaiah 47, I love it. It sound real good.
on the battlefield is horrific. Ukrainians now, we think, have lost 400,000 men killed in battle.
All right, so basically, like I was saying, USA has been telling people, these, mental patients out here that for some, what is it? Ukraine is winning. If you really believe Ukraine was winning, that's crazy. But anyway, US been telling them that, and it's just this dude is telling us now 400,000. This was in 2023. 400,000 Ukrainians have been killed, and we're now in 2024, February. So it's been a lot of people killed already.
We were talking about 300, 350,000 a few months ago. Within the last month of this supposed counteroffensive, which was to sweep the battlefield, they lost at least 40,000 killed. We don't even know how many people have been wounded, but we know that probably upwards of 40 to 50,000 soldiers are amputees. We know the hospitals are full. And we know that Ukrainian units at the platoon and company level, that's with anywhere from 50 to 150 to 200 men, are in piecemeal fashion surrendering to the Russians. Not because they don't want to fight, it's because they can't fight anymore. They had so many wounded, they can't evacuate them. And commanders are saying, well, if I can't evacuate my wounded, I'm going to surrender because otherwise the wounded will die. And so they call the Russians, and they all speak Russian.
And Putin was saying that in his interview. He was, Rush. Those people speak Russian. He said some of the signs was Hungarian and Russian. Because he said that land is actually his. But it was never a problem for him because NATO. He just all he told them was like, listen, don't move NATO over there. It was like he had that. He know he could take it, but he waited to the right moment. And soon as NATO tried to, soon as Ukraine tried to join NATO, he just moved in. And obviously he's making work of that place now.
And tell them on the radio, look, I've got 50, 60 wounded here. I'm going to surrender because I don't want them to be killed. And the Russians from the very beginning have always treated the Ukrainian soldiers very fairly and very gently. And so they know they're not going to be abused or mistreated. They know they can actually be exchanged for Russian prisoners in the future. So they've surrendered. And I think we're going to see this army that we've been spending so heavily on increasingly melt away. And at the same time, as we're talking, if you look at this long banana-shaped strip of territory in southern Ukraine that the Russians control, if you go to the northeastern corner of that, south of this city called Kharkiv, there are major offensive operations taking place there right now. And the Ukrainian forces are being swept away in front of the Russians. And again, all of this happens in a way that is just not reported in the West. And in the meantime, rather than admit that this is a terrible tragedy that should be ended on humanitarian grounds, if no other, that the killing should stop, as President Trump said, stop the killing, we're going to continue. And this puts the Russians in the unhappy position of marching further west, because from the very beginning, Putin and his advisors were never interested in a war with NATO or the United States. That's why you've had such incrementalism, this slow grind of movement forward, defensive operations for a long period to build up the force. And
Yeah, and I think that, and we're gonna get into it now. I think let's see if that's what it says. I want to say is Sleeping Bear. But anyway, this video is hour long. Like I said, it's an old video. I'm not really gonna get into it, but here's a timestamp of pretty much what it's talking about. We're being lied to about the war in Ukraine. What is Russia's objective? Which I mean, pretty much it sounds like their objective is just to defend their own space. You know what I mean? Casualty numbers, which is high. August 2023, it was 400,000. We're in February 2024. Does the Pentagon even understand the war? Republicans kissing up to Zelensky. And Zelensky is the Ukrainian president. One second. Just gotta fix this thing. No. All right. We're gonna get Ezekiel 38 because this is going into prophecy about how Russia will um destroy America and Israel, our land that are trodden down right now by the Gentiles, which are the heathen nation Gentiles. The other nations that are like a drop from a vessel, nothing. Ezekiel 38 and 1. It says, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him," right? And this is talking about the land of Russia and the Russians. Ezekiel 38 and 3. "And say, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them, clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, right? So basically, Russia and all his new allies that he's getting now. We understand BRICS nations and things like that. Ezekiel 38 and 6, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that assemble unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. After many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. And this is talking about the Russians going to war with Babylon the Great, and also war with Israel. Over there, we understand what's happening right now with Israel and Gaza, right? And how what ties into that is Iran, because Iran is linked with Russia, you know, and so everything that's happening right now is the nations being gathered. The nations being gathered. Let's get that. Thus saith the Lord God, it shall also come to pass that at the same time the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt, let me read it over. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, which is Babylon the Great. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land. Right? So that's what's happening. Russia is going to come down like a mighty sword with nukes and destroy this place. Let's get Jeremiah, and we'll start at 47. Nope. Start at, and it's probably 49. It's Jeremiah 49 and 7. It says, concerning Edom, saith the Lord. Let's see if I can find a point. Yeah, here we go. We're gonna start at Jeremiah 49 and 13. This is a good thing. We'll just